Statistics. Where does it fit into research projects? Research projects. A scientific venture to answer a research question that was posed about a research topic. So a research project is a scientific venture to answer a research question that was posed about a research topic. So let's talk about research topic. A research topic is a subject or issue that a researcher is interested in when conducting a research. So it is a subject. A well-defined research topic is the starting point of every successful research project. In other words, a subject or concern that interests a researcher. So an example of a research topic is the learning of mathematics. That could be a subject that interests a particular researcher, the learning of mathematics. So after the research topic comes the research question. These are fundamental initiators of the research. They initiate the research, start it. It is one that can be answered by collecting data and where there will be variability in that data. So you can only answer a research question using data that was collected. Therefore, that's where the variables are first mentioned. A research question is different from a question that anticipates a deterministic answer. So, for example, the height of the table, and you take a measuring device and you measure the height of the table. This answer is deterministic. So that's not a research question. What is the height of the table? So and therefore now the variable now is first mentioned in the research question. So let's talk about a variable. A variable is a characteristic of the study object. Example, color, texture, number of edges, number of chairs, price, height, weight, temperature. Now the data now is a specific value of a particular variable, which is the characteristic of the study object. So examples of data for the variable color is green. For the variable texture, the data could be smooth. For the variable number of edges, the data could be 6 edges. For the variable number of chairs, the data could be 50 chairs. For the variable price, the data could be $35. For the variable height, the data could be 150 centimeters. For the variable weight, the data could be 2.89 kilograms. For the variable temperature, the data could be 24.5 degrees. So therefore, now there are 3 types of variables / data: qualitative, quantitative discrete, and quantitative continuous. Qualitative, you must use words to write down the data. So examples of qualitative variables are color, because you have to write down the word green. Texture, you have to write down the word smooth, for example, so that's qualitative. Quantitative discrete, you must count to obtain the data. Also, the data must assume countable values. Most times these are integer numbers. Examples of quantitative discrete variables: number of edges, 6 edges, you have to count. Number of chairs, 50 chairs, you've got to count. Price, $35, you got to count, so that's quantitative discrete. And now you have quantitative continuous. You must use a measuring instrument to obtain the data. Also, the data can assume infinite possible values. Decimal points. Examples of quantitative continuous variables are height, 150 centimeters, weight, 2.89 kilograms, temperature, 24.5 degrees. So you got to measure. Once you have to measure, it's quantitative continuous. Once you have to count, it's quantitative discrete. And once you're using words, it's qualitative. And the data is a specific value, and the variable now is the characteristic of the study object. So here are 3 examples of research questions from that research topic, the learning of mathematics. Research question number 1: what is the average mathematics score of the nursing students of semester 2, 2019? And the variable is first mentioned in the research question. The variable is mathematics score. That's quantitative discrete because you've got to count. What is the relationship between distance from school and academic performance? That's research question number 2. Distance is a variable. It's quantitative continuous because you've got to measure distance. Academic performance is quantitative discrete because you've got to count your grades. Research question number 3: is there a significant association between academic measure and mathematics performance of college students? The variables there are academic measure and mathematics performance. Academic measure is Qualitative, because you've got to write a word. Maths, English. What is your major? Biology, French. Spanish. What's your major? Physics. Architecture. That's qualitative. And mathematics performance, as we say, is quantitative discrete because you got to count. So importantly, the variables are first mentioned in the research questions, and the research questions are based on the research topic. So now comes the hypothesis. It is basically a blunt statement that mostly expresses the researcher's predetermined opinions, inclinations, observations, or non-substantiated conclusions where there is little or no data. So it serves as a possible answer to the research question before empirical data is collected. So after the research question was posed, then there's a possible answer, and this possible answer now is kind of opinionated, no data to back it up, so they are called hypotheses. And here are 3 examples of hypotheses linked to the research question, the 3 ones. So hypothesis number 1, the average mathematics score of nursing students of semester 2, 2019 is below 85%. No data was collected, and you're trying to answer that research question number 1. Hypothesis number 2, there's a negative correlation between distance from school and academic performance. So you're trying to say now, as distance increase, your academic performance, decreases. As distance increase, your academic performance decreases, a negative correlation. Without any data, you made that unsubstantiated conclusion, and it's called hypothesis. Hypothesis number 3 is based on research question number 3. You see that there is a significant association between academic major and mathematics performance of college students. So you think there is a significant association. So you have to use the word think because data was not collected. Now there's a word called in theory. It is an explanation of a phenomenon that is supported by empirical data. It is formulated after multiple research projects. So therefore now a hypothesis can graduate to become a theory if it is proven multiple times to be true. So now comes the research objectives, the to-dos, what to do. They are important guides to steer the research in the direction related to the research questions. They must begin with verbs and must be clear and precise because they are pillars that guide the direction of the entire research right up to the conclusion, what to do. In fact, the conclusion must be directly linked with the objectives, which in turn are linked to the hypotheses, which in turn are linked to the research questions. They indicate to the reader what precisely the researcher is going to do. So 3 research questions, 3 hypotheses, 3 research objectives. Objective number 1, to analyze the mathematics score of nursing students of semester 2, 2019. To determine the correlation between distance from school and academic performance. To investigate the association between academic major and mathematics performance of college students. So as you can see, the tight link from research questions right up to the objectives, and the variables are continuously repeated, and they have to be well defined. Now comes the questionnaire. A questionnaire is a research instrument that consists of a set of questions for the purpose of collecting the data from respondents through survey or statistical study or experimentation, etc. The questions are intended to obtain the data for the variables which first appeared in the research questions and are repeated right up to the objectives. So therefore, the variables must be present in the questionnaire. What questions you're going to ask to collect data on the variable? For example, what is your mathematics score? You need that data to answer the research question that is based on mathematics score. What is your distance from school? You need that data so that you can correlate distance and mathematics score. Research question number 2. What is your academic major? You want to know if there's an association between major and mathematics score. You need the academic major of that particular student. So those 3 questions is posed or asked from or taken from or collected from a particular respondents. Now, after the data is collected, so here comes statistics now. Statistics is now needed to facilitate the manipulation of the data collected in each variable. So once your questionnaire is defined, you know what to do. To collect the data, you need the assistance of statistics. Definition number 1 of statistics. Statistics can be defined as the collection, organization, representation, and numerical analysis of data to make informed decisions. So according to this definition, statistics starts with the collection of the data. That's just after the questionnaire has been established. Now, in that process of statistics here, there is numerical analysis, that is numbers calculated on the data collected from the sample. Now, these numbers now are also called statistics. Here it is, definition number 2, numerical values calculated by using a sample. These values are generally called descriptive measures because they are used to describe the data set. When a sample is used, they are called sample statistics. When a population is used, they are called population parameters. So examples of sample statistics are sample mean, sample median, sample mode, sample variance, sample standard deviation, sample correlation. So these numbers calculated from the sample in turn are called statistics. So here you have 2 definitions of statistics. One as a process starting with the collection of data, and the other, the numbers calculated from the sample. These numbers are also called sample statistics. Then you have the conclusions. The conclusion is where you wrap up the findings in a logical manner. Hence, there must be a tight link between the conclusions and the research questions. Consequently, you will be communicating to the reader if the hypotheses were confirmed or negated. So, for example, the average mathematics score of the nursing students of semester 2 2019 is not below 85%. So you negate that hypothesis. According to your findings, that first hypothesis was proven to be false. Second conclusion, there is a negative correlation between distance from school and academic performance. So therefore, your conclusions agree with that hypothesis. Hypothesis number 3, conclusion number 3, there is a significant association between academic measure and mathematics performance of college students. So this hypothesis, third hypothesis, was confirmed. So these now could be the 3 answers to the 3 research questions initially posed. So the logical sequence, you have a research project, you must have a research topic. From that topic, research questions are asked. Then possible answers to the research questions are called hypotheses. Then you have your research objectives, your to-dos, then your questionnaire to collect the data. And once you're talking about collection of data, here comes statistics. Statistics is now needed to facilitate the manipulation of the data collected on each variable. So that's the position of statistics in a research project. Just after the questionnaire, the onset of the collection of the data, that's when you need statistics.